Hello, my name is Diana, and in this video I wanted to talk about in very simple terms about the difference between the Dockerfile, the Docker image, and the Docker container. So I will just start. You know that Docker is this tool that allows us to create and deploy, run applications in these so-called containers. And this is nice because say you are working on your machine, which is Linux, and then your friend has a Windows machine,
and then you want to share this application that you're making with him, then you can just Dockerize it and then upload it in this registry from Docker, and then he can use it.
This is what Docker does in very short. And to explain the difference between the three concepts, I like to use this cooking analogy, where let's imagine we cook a dish which is pasta carbonara, and we of course have a recipe for it, and this recipe is represented by the Docker file. So the Docker file is just this script which contains a set of instructions on how to build our application. Just like for the pasta recipe, we have ingredients such as pasta and eggs and bacon. Similarly, in the Docker file, we want to install some version of PyTorch library or pandas, or we want to configure a virtual environment. We may want to set some permissions for the user of this container. We want to maybe copy some files inside of this container. So it sounds very similar to a recipe. What I really like about this analogy is that in the recipe we have these steps of preparation, and it always starts with place a pot on high heat, and in the Docker file we always start from a base image. So just like the pot is our environment where we start from, similarly the base Docker image is the Docker image that we start to build our application from. This is the Docker file, so it is just the recipe. The Docker image is the actual dish that we are making and that we can share with others. It's going to be a pre-built package which contains all the files and all the resources that are needed for our application. Build a Docker image from a Docker file. There is actually one more step before people can actually use your application, which is the Docker container is a running instance of a Docker image. The difference between the Docker image and the Docker container is that while the Docker image is the whole pot of pasta, the Docker container is a portion of this pot that is ready to be eaten by someone. So just because I made a pot of pasta and I put it there to be shared with others, it doesn't mean that it is eaten. Okay, so let's recap a bit. The Docker file is the recipe for our pasta carbonara. The Docker image is the pot of pasta carbonara that we made. And the Docker container is a portion from the pasta that we made, which is ready to be eaten. Again, we say that we build an image based on a Docker file, and we run a Docker container based on a Docker image. That's it. I hope this video cleared up some confusion around these three concepts. Feel free to share feedback, and yeah, thanks for watching.